So in Camden, a gym, the Atlas Health Spa, opened up to violate the lockdown, and protesters showed up, and the cops were called. And here's the confrontation. And this is what chokes me up, because this is the American heart in action. The cops show up to address the protesters. And what I love is the American protesters telling other protesters to be quiet and let the police officer speak, and then what the officer says.
I advise you that you're in violation of an executive order. What does that mean?
Just let him speak.
Speak your piece and don't worry about it.
We are and we're only here for everybody's safety today. We plan for the worst, hope for the best, and it seems like that's what we have out here today.
Yeah.
Formally, you are all in violation of the executive order. On that note, have a good day. Everybody be safe.
I love it. You're all in violation of the executive order. Have a good day. That's the American heart, because he knows that he, in that situation, is the law. And so he enforces the real law, not some bogus executive order that the guy probably doesn't have the right to make anyway. He instead enforces the real American law, which is freedom, and he walks away and he does his job. It's an amazing thing. And here is the police chief in San Jose, Eddie Garcia, who basically explains why he can't enforce these stupid lockdown orders.
Incredibly frustrating. Since this began, it seems like the goalposts are not just moving for our community, but for law enforcement. Since day one, these orders have been ridiculously difficult to enforce. But now, I don't know how any police chief in this county can look at their community in the face and say, while people are being released out of jails on zero bail, serious criminals, that now we're going to stop people from holding signs, driving around, and wishing individuals happy birthdays or happy graduations. I don't understand. I certainly can't look at my community credibly and tell them that.
I love it. I just love it. Remember I told you when they busted that lady for taking her kid to the park? I said a police officer has to use his mind and think, wait a minute, I'm arresting a mom for taking her kid to the park. Something is wrong here. You've got to use it. It doesn't matter if she's shouting. Doesn't matter if she's an activist. You got to think to yourself, wait a minute, is this America? Am I enforcing the American rule of law, or am I enforcing some random thing that somebody who just happens to be in office happened to say, right? This is a guy explaining to you. And so when Trump supports these people, when he supports the protesters, the media who have lost the American heart, the media who have lost their American hearts, they come out and this is what they say. This is Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar on The View talking about the fact that President Trump supports the protesters.
Does it surprise you, Joy?
Nothing that he ever does, that you know who does, nothing just surprises me. I'm certainly not surprised by this, because let's not forget when he called white supremacists and neo-Nazis in Charlottesville great people, quote unquote. It's his MO to destroy the press, because the press will tell you the truth, and the truth hurts him in his re-election plan. And, he's worried. He's very worried.
You can't handle the truth.
She says the press will tell you the truth after lying about what Trump said. Trump never said the Nazis in Charlottesville were great people. He never said it. He said specifically, I am not saying that, but it doesn't matter. They spread the lies because they've lost it. They have lost it. Listen, I just want to compare this to Judge Napolitano over at Fox. Judge Napolitano has been fair. He has attacked Trump when he thought Trump was wrong. He just follows the rule of law. Here's what he says about this.
All of these lockdown orders are without lawful authority. They're unconstitutional. They violate the Bill of Rights. They interfere with our freedom of religion, our freedom of travel, our right to privacy, our freedom of speech, our freedom of assembly. I could just go right down the line. And we need more people to resist these unlawful incursions into freedom by the governors. Now, the clip you just ran of the governor of Wisconsin, he's right. He lost this battle. He didn't even follow the law. The law in Wisconsin says if you want to shut things down for more than 28 days, you have to get the consent of the legislature. He didn't do it. As we slept, the Oregon Supreme Court has put a stay on that ruling. It was a trial court judge in Oregon who said to the governor, you can't do this until they hear it. Prediction, they will rule the same way as the trial court did. Governors are without authority to stop everything from happening.
This is the thing. The cops are enforcing the rule of law. They're not enforcing these random, lawless executive orders that they're not doing them right. They got one struck down in Oregon as well. I wish I could mention, seriously, a Sheriff James Mendrick in DuPage County, Illinois, he went on Facebook and says, "I can't do this anymore. I stand with our citizens and businesses of DuPage County who have offered no trouble and no resistance to any rule we put upon them, no matter how strange." He says, "I'm not a stormtrooper. I'm a peacekeeper." I wish I could name every cop out there who's doing that, but I know it's the American heart. I know it's out there, and I know it protects us. It's the only thing that does protect us when these guys lose their way, and a lot of them have. Before you go, one last thing. Hit the subscribe button so that you stay up to date on all our content.